the value of your opinion. Your opinion, your personality trait, how you see the world, how you view the world. If you're living in the Southeast, where I've been, living and had the privilege of living, most of us here in Southeast Alabama, culture and society is most likely like this, from what I've seen. You have the teenagers, who just attend parties or attend events, only to meet up with guys, to have sex or whatever, and the guys only to have sex with them, to tell their partners about them, and then their partner pass them off to the next one. And that goes on till they get old enough to understand that their body don't need to be worn out like tires. Until they get to their husband and then they find the understanding of the truth. I had to get up and sit down. I got a little stiff there. Find out the truth that they're more than a body trap, but most and some just don't stop there. They continue on into their adulthood, become women who depend on men to support their financial needs, and they have to live with each other because of their bills and what have not. And then they're not happily sexually, in bed, so they cheat a lot. You got mostly cheating, and that's the norm. So society, in your opinion, matters. Do you continue to go on with what's just normal for people? And if your guy down here in the Southeast, and that's everywhere, you try to have as much money as you can to, assume a little power that you have, though you don't have any, because the amount of money you make is small, yo. You're not up on the millionaire status or what we call, really wealthy rich, so really, how are they really having an opinion of this dope boy got this much money, or this truck driver got this, and it's just small. It's just, big fish and little ponds, and calling it oceans. There ain't no oceans. There ain't no oceans. Everybody's just doing the same thing, got the same niche. And people search for change. They search for change. So I tell you about the eternal because that's all I've seen that's not regular. It's kind of irregular of the heartbeat of the world and society, y'all. So that's why I keep going back to what matters to me the most is the soul. People, you just can't finesse people enough. I can get on here and say, I would love for you to, progress in the things that you got going on in your life if you didn't need an eternal soul. But I can't say that. So I can't even lie and tell you that you don't need your soul and you don't need your truth and you don't need your personal opinion and your characteristic while you're creating in this life. I continue to tell you about that because that's what's the real value of you being here. Your purpose. And I ain't got to be on here and be, get deep and wonderful and mystical all the time. Just for people to understand change is necessary. I was driving down the road the other day and I heard Teddy Pendergrass songs. One of the old songs. And I'm like wondering, why is this old song that I've heard throughout my life, wake up everybody, no more. I'm like, come on. So I just actually tuned in and listened to the entire song. And it was the universe speaking to me because I believe in the universe so speaking to me through whatever channel it has to come through. And sometimes it's on the radio, young ladies and gentlemen. It's on the radio. As for me, as for its purpose, because in your humanness, you don't feel like sometimes pushing forward, and helping even yourself. You just feel like because of what you've created so far, it's such a burdensome on you. You just say, forget the world and everybody else in it because you just want peace away from what you created your own self. And yet everybody bombards you with their issues and problems, saying, thinking that you have their solution, not looking at their own life, but soul. That's your own fault. And that's what I looked at. I'm like, man, that's my own fault. Being an eternal soul and being awake and being open, in my opinion, matter because it creates when it comes. When you're out shopping and you don't have the money and, there's another means to get the money to shop, and you buying other ways to get money to shop or to get stuff, that's other people's money that you're using. So, I done it. I done it a long time ago. I used to do it, stealing electricity and not electricity, but stealing cable and stuff, all that back in the day, and people still doing it because they can't afford it. So what do y'all think y'all supposed to do? What does the government think y'all supposed to do? Your opinion matters. You know, you can't keep working 5 and 6 and 12 jobs. But go back to my previous videos. Go back to my previous video. You can look within yourself and do some things that matter, you know, in your community to get you income. You know, and they may not be the things that everybody else agree with, but let them go on with their lives because they are in the struggle. You know, they're in the same financial places, you know, in society that you're in, but you're not in that struggle because you figured out I could do this to get income. I don't just have to depend on my 9 to 5, and that's the value in an opinion. So I was telling you about spiritual gifts and deja vu, astral travel. You know, I was going to go into lucid dreams, you know, because of Friday the 13th, but no. You know, I decided to get, you know, kind of personal, you know, with where I'm from, you know, and what I really feel about what's going on today and what will continue to go on if we don't do anything about it. If we don't wake up, like Teddy Pendergrass said, that was an awesome song back in the day. No more sleeping in bed. That means with your enemy of yourself. That's how it felt to me. I was sleeping with an enemy of stagnation. Shantavian not going forward, not telling what's being channeled down to him as a truth. This is the truth. You know, your opinion matters SouL. Your characteristic, how you work out your life differences matter. It matters, you know. So wake up. You know, wake up. No more sleeping. That was a powerful message to me, you know, to break the cycle. Y'all know, I can't say what you need to do, you know, but if you're listening to me, you know ain't no better place to go but continue to go inward, because everything that you have seen outwardly, so every single solitary thing that you have seen has not been a consistent. Not even you. Why? Because you've been, you know, out there with that inconsistent yourself. I have been with that, so I ain't fault nobody. I'm just saying we ought to change, y'all. We ought to change. It ain't got to be all mystical. Friday the 13th, okay, yeah. Thursday the 13th, Tuesday the 13th. You know what I'm saying? Wednesday the 13th, Monday, Sunday can be on the 13th. My opinion, you know. What has the world done to you, SouL? For real? And I know most of the world don't look at Friday the 13th like they used to, unless they're just, you know, having because it's Friday night, you know, you're going to really party tonight, unless you just want to release yourself like that. But your opinion matters. So that's all I got to say about that. And that's Shantavian Payne. I love you, SouL. I always say it the best I know how. I thank you for being yourself. Thank you for supporting and subscribing. You know, that means a lot. I don't say it. I put it up here in the, you know, the captions or whatever. But yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot when someone subscribes. It means a lot when you post your comments about your experience, you know, to let me know how I'm doing. That means a lot, you know, even though we don't fall, you know, victim to it, because that can also tear you down and be an idol too. So you mean a lot. That's what I'm saying. You mean a lot. And I appreciate you. This is Shantavian Payne. I'll see you soon. I love you in the soul.